Today we're gathering with the families that were affected by the fire on July 4th from illegal fireworks. And so for the last couple months now, just doing some fundraising, and we've been able to house a lot of different families and also get them different things that they need. And today we gathered them here on Labor Day because we gathered the last money from our text to donate, and we are distributing that money equally to all the different families.
We were the one that was affected on the fire of 4th July. We were on the parking lot when suddenly we heard that one of the fire get onto the palm trees, and then the fire started from there. So we just ran. I got my car and ran out of the parking because the fire was started getting really hot and big.
I had memories in that apartment, and for me to see that apartment get on fire and just see the fire just spreading the rest apartments and seeing people they were panicking, they were crying because they had important things. I was just I just felt bad at the same time.
There were 16 families in total that were affected without any house, without anything, and we were from one place to another one. We lost everything, and now we need to start all over once again from the beginning. And every time that I start smelling like smoke right now that we have all the fires around, it scares me sometimes. I don't know if it's close to us or not. It really affects us a lot.
It's gonna be a bad memory for us, a bad day for us. We're gonna remember it in our lives because that really happened in our home and where we had many memories.
We invited as many families as possible to come today to receive not only a gift of food, but also a gift card from the remaining money that we raised from the text to donate. And the families that aren't here, we're still going to obviously continue to try to reach out to them to make sure we can get them everything that we raise for them.
For them to be helping us is a really nice thing right now, and especially in this pandemic that some families don't have work right now. They're helping us in some important ways.
Thank you for all the help and support that they've been giving us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Today is a very special day. It's the 75th anniversary of the ending of the war with Japan. It's traditionally called VJ Day, or Victory in Japan Day. And Iowa was actually very close to the ceremony that took place on the sister ship, Battleship Missouri. So we were right there in the middle.
We put together a bit of a hybrid event today that started off, in fact it's still continuing, a live stream with our sister ship, Battleship Missouri Memorial in Hawaii.
We normally would be kicking off Fleet Week here in Los Angeles, but we weren't allowed to do that because of the pandemic. So we have a virtual Fleet Week taking place.
I was a Missouri sailor. Knowing that the end of World War II happened on our ship kind of made it a nice historic part of our ship. They're the exact same ship, sister ships. So what I felt on the Missouri is what I feel when I walk on board this ship. It's nice to see a lot of our Missouri brothers and sisters here today.
I just hope people appreciate the history behind Battleship Iowa, the fact that it represents America's design, and also where much history was made.
This is a Let's Be Counted event hosted by the Downtown Medical Center right here in historic Filipino town. In this surrounding area, we're only at 41% of the count, which is woefully inadequate. Resources are at risk if Los Angeles isn't fully counted. We could lose funding for housing, funding for health care. We could actually lose a seat in the House of Representatives. So everyone needs to stand up, be counted, and know that you'll be counted safely.
For every person that is undercounted, that's a loss of almost $10,000 per person. over the course of 10 years. So that means less money for our hospitals, less money for our roads, less money for all these city services.
It really is a civil rights issue to be counted. We're doing COVID testing here as well. It's free. There's also a $5 free gift card for just participating and a gift bag.
It's also different and it's a lot more convenient to access testing when it's right in the neighborhood.
Getting tested gives me some sense of peace of mind that I'm negative from COVID and I'm not spreading it.
Los Angeles city planning exists for a variety of purposes that involve land use. Our two primary functions in city planning are to draft and adopt long-range plans for the city. Another major role of the department is to implement all of those plans by reviewing individual projects. Many of the priorities of Los Angeles city planning have been emphasized by the recent pandemic. So, for example, a lot of our efforts are put into strategies to build more housing and to facilitate affordable housing in particular. And the advent of the pandemic has really underscored and reinforced the need to have more housing within the city of Los Angeles. Conserving neighborhood identity has been a really important goal within the community plan. So just understanding what a unique social and cultural context this community is. And so we really wanted to make sure that our policies and our zoning programs are helping to support and to safeguard that identity. As we've been doing a lot of outreach in Boyle Heights, two major needs have really predominated the discussion. One of those is to look at strategies to safeguard existing communities and existing neighborhoods. About 75% of the households in Boyle Heights rent their homes. So it's really essential that they have some assurance of their place in Boyle Heights' future. On the other hand, we are a growing city and Boyle Heights is a growing community. For example, we know that more than half of the households in Boyle Heights have children, have people under 18 years of age. And so it's really apparent that it's a growing community and there's going to be a need for additional housing. We're also looking to ensure that as new housing is built in Boyle Heights, especially in these transit-served areas, that affordable housing is provided along with that. But then we're also looking at, for example, policies to support things like street vending, which is such an indelible part of the Boyle Heights experience and such an important way that many households have to simply make ends meet. And so there are a lot of policies which have been built around a lot of public input on this topic in particular, wanting to acknowledge that street vending is a thing in Boyle Heights and that it's an important part of both the culture and the economy. Community planning is so important because it's an opportunity to address the challenges that local communities have today while also looking at the myriad of challenges that exist for us over the next 20 plus years.
We've been working with Councilmember Gil Cedillo for a few months now, and we were able to get funding to assist the street vendors, specifically to the Westlake Pico Union street vendors with financial assistance.
Street vendors, like any other business, they're hurting right now. So like a lot of people don't want to go out. So many of them haven't been able to keep up, and it's been really difficult for them.
It depends on the family size, how much families can get. The funding is not for their business, but for their personal expenses. So for example, if they're behind on rent, behind on their bills, or they need money for personal care, our case managers will be able to assist them with funding for that. If they need clothing or household goods, what we do is we buy a gift card. Our case managers go with the customer to spend the money. Funds are anywhere from $700 to $1,500 depending on the family size.
¿En qué sentido?
Pues de pagar los biles del internet para los niños porque lo ocupamos para la escuela, de la luz, debemos la renta y eso que nos va a ayudar bastante.
Más o menos, ¿cuánto estaba ganando y cuánto es lo que ha perdido?
No, es bastante la diferencia. Anteriormente sí hay mucha gente trabajando, la gente trabajando compran. Pero ahorita el tiempo que está, mucha gente no trabaja, no compra, entonces la venta ha bajado bastante. Y cuesta un poquito para conseguir el dinero para pagar los biles, pagar la renta y todo. Es una suma ayuda bastante que nos dieron ahorita.
Council member wanted to make sure that street vendors here in this area receive some sort of financial assistance and also technical assistance on how they can get their documentation in order so they can in the future be eligible for some other like programs, state and federal.
LA City Attorney Mike Feuer announced that a national coalition of local governments, including Los Angeles and major civil rights organizations, have secured a temporary restraining order in its lawsuit against the Trump administration over its decision to cut the timeline for the 2020 U.S. Census. The order requires the administration to halt implementation of its August plan to prematurely cut off census outreach. Los Angeles Community College District students with housing insecurity or homelessness could find help thanks to an agreement with Los Angeles Room and Board. The nonprofit organization, whose efforts were in part an agreement with the district's Board of Trustees, will provide about 35 beds and other services for students. Governor Gavin Newsom has a new 4-tier plan to help in the reopening of businesses in California, with the rules being identical for all 58 counties. Tier 1 is during the widespread transmission and has all non-essential businesses closed and shows more than 7 new COVID cases per 100,000 people per day and has an 8% rate of positive coronavirus tests. And the system gradually gets to Tier 4, which is where minimal transmission and most businesses reopening with modifications. The counties will have less than 1 new case with 100,000 people and less than 2% coronavirus positivity rate. This system is in place to slowly restart California at a safer rate. A little extra help in the sum of $900 may be received by unemployed residents in California. The lump sum would cover 3 weeks of benefits succeeding the week that ended August 1st at the rate of $300 a week and is given from the federal government.
George Eliot, the British author, said, "Animals are such agreeable friends. They'll ask no questions and they'll pass no criticisms." Well, with 6 shelters and 60,000 animals annually, our next guest knows this intimately. I'm delighted to be joined by General Manager of LA Animal Services, Brenda Barnett. We're in strange times. The pandemic has not just affected humans, it's also affected animals. So what are some of the major changes that you've had to address at the LA Animal Services during this period in time?
Well, in order to keep our staff as safe as possible, we went to 12-hour shifts. And in order to do that, we had to reduce our shelter population, which, thanks to the great animal-loving Angelinos, we were able to do by well over 2,000 animals through adoptions, foster, return to owners, and rescue partners taking animals out. So there are other things that we're starting to do to try to help people keep their companion animals. For example, we've got 2 food banks set up now, one at Chesterfield Square and one at East Valley. They are by appointment, but we have people can make appointments. We do have some walk-ins too. They can come and get pet food, you know, for their companion animals if they're, you know, having financial troubles. We're also working on a program to help keep the companions in the homes by providing some veterinary services. If it's the cost of a veterinary exam or treatment, and if they had help with that, they could still keep their pet.
Your foster program was actually shelter at home, which we all now know having a different definition entirely.
Right. Well, you know what happens is people find dogs or cats on the street, and they say, oh, I don't want to take it to the shelter. So we said, okay, take it home, but register it with us. Have it checked to see if it has a microchip. Give us a picture, we'll post it on our website.
If someone wants to get some more information, the best way is?
They can look on our website, laanimalservices.com. We're pretty available, and we try to be, and I think that's very important for animal services.
Right now, I am at Lucy's Mediterranean's restaurant, and this is part of the Great Plates program. From the mayor's office, we have the restaurants make meals for seniors and have cab drivers involved as well. So this helps the economy, workers, the restaurants, the drivers, and we make sure that we deliver nutritional meals to the seniors.
I'm here to transport these boxes for senior citizens. I have about 28, 29 boxes. They all live in different areas, in mostly San Fernando Valley, North Hollywood. They're always very appreciative. They say thank you so much. It doesn't seem like they take it for granted. They give us cold water, they ask us how we're doing.
It helps so many people who are unable to get food and can't afford food. And this gives them a chance to at least get some nutrition as well as a balanced diet. Otherwise, they wouldn't have that.
I have small money because this food is very good for me.
Well, seniors are somewhat in the epicenter of risk when it comes to the pandemic, but fortunately there are services to help. How has the department had to adjust to the pandemic and being able to provide services to seniors?
The top priority for us was ensuring that seniors continue to get fed. So with the pandemic, what we had to do is change the way we delivered services. So now all of our meals basically are delivered. And we also switched from providing meals 5 times per week to 7 times. There's over, I think we may be up to 600,000 seniors in the city of LA now.
Oh my goodness.
So when this hit, it just greatly expanded the base of our clientele.
That's just, a fraction of what the Department of Agency actually touches when it comes to the life of the seniors in Los Angeles. So what are some of the other things that the department does?
We've had a job training program for seniors. And actually, it's older adult workers are actually extremely good workers. And even now, with the current economic climate, some of them have still been able to find jobs. One of the other services that we provide actually is assistive transportation.
That was something I was going to ask you about because, that is a critical component to anything, whether it's getting food or supplies or medical or doctor's appointments or just anything. So, transportation.
Yes, so we've operated a assistive transportation program for over 20 years, and we're following all the protocols of making sure the vans are clean before the start of the day as well as in between the rides of the clients. We're also limiting the passengers basically to just one.
Well, it was lovely to talk with you, James, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
James. There is an enormous amount of focus and attention on the behavior of law enforcement. I mean, it's intense and volatile, but at the same time, something that you have to handle and deal with. So what adjustments have you made recently within the LA Sheriff's Department to sort of manage all of this attention?
Well, we just have all of our personnel just aware of what they're doing at all times. And you hate to have people working with their head on a swivel, but there's things coming from every single direction. And we just have to be mindful in terms of the impact that our activities are with the community, making sure the deputies stay safe out there, doing the right thing. And we're constantly criticizing what we're doing, getting that feedback, making sure the folks out on the field understand the impact of what they're doing.
Controversial decisions are definitely part of any position of responsibility. Are you surprised by the vitriol or the drama that surrounds some of the things that you say and do?
Well, it's kind of disappointing that people somehow can say, oh, I'm lying, I must be lying. You know, it's a favorite line. He's not telling the truth. And when I was a deputy, when I was a sergeant of the department, I spoke truth to power in the most oppressive environment possible, which is under the administration of Lee Bach and Paul Tanaka, who are both federal inmates as we speak. And they really knew how to destroy careers. And I didn't care because I came across corruption, cheating. I pointed it out, I put it in writing. I said, I'm not going to participate, and this is going to lead to the downfall of the organization. I was laughed at, ridiculed, isolated, pretty much sent to the gulag. But I realized it was more important to me, my credibility, my integrity, than to buy into a corrupt system, the good old boy crowd.
In terms of recruitment, you have approximately 630 retirees. Are you worried about being able to garner the talent you need to continue with community safety?
We expect that we're going to continue to hire the best and the brightest to come, and we're hiring locally, not out of state anymore. We want our local kids to grow up to become deputies serving their own communities. We're going to raise our minimum education level in January 1st to an associate's degree. Oh. And I think we're going to be the first large organization to do that. And so we're going to have a supply of very good candidates from now into the future. Are
you incorporating additional things into training once that happens in terms of sensitivity and de-escalation and all of those hot topic buttons that are...
All those hot topic buttons that politicians are jumping on the bandwagon to say, we are already doing those things. Implicit bias training. We have a lot of de-escalation training. We have a crisis intervention training, and a lot to do with, with dealing with the homeless, for example, with the mentally ill. We're constantly training. What kills us, though, is when there's a budget crisis, the first thing that gets sacrificed is training. And that's the thing what we need the most, and we need to meet more of it. So we're kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul to see where we can get the training to happen, and let's see what happens.
All right, last word. What are you most proud of in your term so far? You've been on board since 2018. What are you most proud of what you've been able to do?
I think the permanent ban on ICE is an important achievement. I think the body cameras, those are two big campaign promises that I fulfilled. So we're well on our way to achieve all of the campaign promises I set out, because I want to make sure I did what I set out to do, which is to serve the community and make it safer for everyone.
Join Councilmember Mitchell Farrell, Mayor Eric Garcetti, and City Attorney Mike Feuer for a special dialogue entitled Standing Up Against Hate. The online event will take place on Friday, September 18th at 12 p.m. and will feature leaders in the LA transgender and non-binary community. Standing Up Against Hate will discuss strategies to combat the rise of incidents locally. Check it out on lacityview.org/live. Councilmember Gil Cedillo is hosting domestic violence workshops for anyone who is a victim or may know someone who is. These workshops are in multiple languages and are happening throughout September into October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. For more information, visit facebook.com/CM Gil Cedillo. The Latino Theater Company will be streaming an archival recording of This is a Man's World, written and performed by Sal Lopez. The production is billed as a solo, semi-autobiographical coming-of-age story. Streamings are set through September 17th. Visit thelatc.org for more information. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.